under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
O'Brien.
Here.
McNutt.
Here.
Duff.
Here.
Jimmy.
Here.
Claiborne. Here. Kuznicki.
Here.
Newman.
Here. I don't believe we have any additions.
None tonight, thank you.
And approval of agenda.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
I think there's a typo. On the very last page, next meeting is November, not October,
Be November
Yep.
12th.
November 12th.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Motion
Sorry.
to approve as amended? Second.
A motion by Duff, second by O'Brien to approve as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. 6, correspondence and information. We have one letter from Eagle. Our soil erosion program has been completed and approved. And we have another correspondence from Joe Goodison regarding Ventura parking.
Motion to receive and file as presented?
Have a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. First call the public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the council on agenda items.
Motion open? Second.
A motion to open in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're open.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Tom Daly. I'm at 2377 Ventura. I'm here today to talk about the Ventura parking that we've been talking about for the last 9 months. In light of the recent communication that was disclosed in the council packet on this topic, I'm asking the council to help prevent further slanderous and libelous comments from being put forward. While everyone is entitled to their individual opinions on topics, it doesn't mean that they're true or factual, and they shouldn't be being brought out into public if they're not. I provided documentation to support positions that I've been communicating in this discussion. That's what I've been doing to make sure that these things are backed up. I'm doing this now again to refute some of the incorrect information that's continuing to infiltrate the discussion and is probably getting in the way of the efforts that we're trying to make to move forward in this 11-year issue. First, the area that we've been discussing in the matter is right-of-way. It was not a driveway in 1999, as was asserted, nor any time before the problems began. I have an aerial photograph from 2005 that clearly documents that the right-of-way was grass and hard-packed dirt. I'm going to give that to you. Grass and hard-packed dirt used for access of the properties at 2377, 2373, and not for routine vehicle parking. The state of the public property was a result of the village's decision not to spend money to pave it. Actions taken by multiple property owners at both sites over years were done intermittently to mitigate mud in this undeveloped access area. However, just driving across this unimproved area didn't clearly establish public property as private driveway. As noted in the note, no issues were reported prior to the changes. This was specifically because there was no routine parking occurring in the right-of-way area, which is now being done. People parked on private properties, as can be seen in that photo, as well as all the other ones that I sent to you in February. So thank you for taking notice of that one. Second, the illegal and improper parking occurring from 14 through 25 was regular, not sporadic, as is often suggested. It didn't involve mere infractions of barely being over lines, of cars being, it included numerous occasions where vehicles were parked fully uncompliant in no parking areas. Here are 5 pictures, 5 photos that I just took really easy, randomly, out of some of the documentation that I've already sent you. It shows the vehicles well beyond no parking lines, well into the street and blocking traffic flow, just over the line as suggested many times. Right? The village has access to hundreds of these photos. Let me get this to you this way, Gordon. They have hundreds of these photos on records that I sent over time. So this is not something that's a here or there thing, and it's not a thing where people are just barely parking and barely having their ends out into the street. It's quite substantial. Finally, the illegal the police were called numerous times during the initial phase of these issues. Okay? I have a communication with the police and the administrators documenting a police call that did not address the issue. Vehicles in general were left parked illegally when they called, and people were told to drive around illegally parked vehicles often. The communication in this particular case was on a vehicle that had 75% of its structure beyond the no parking area into the street. After numerous failed attempts to obtain resolutions through the police and administrators using this same process many times, right? There was no alternative other than to begin documenting these occurrences. And then what I did was I went and took only the substantial incidents that were accumulated and sent those to the administrator and the council at regular intervals to continue documenting these issues. The village has all of those correspondence on record also if you need them. I believe in some of you that were even copied on this. So here, I'll give this to you. This is a record of me asking for police support not being given, and then 3 weeks of notes back and forth as to why nothing was done and that they weren't going to do anything and I could drive around. Well, I can't keep people from continuing to bring up false accusations or incorrect or extraneous information that continues to misdirect the discussion on this topic. I can and I will keep coming in and providing this documentation that supports the factual information, which led the council in February to commit to resolving this issue that's been going on for 11 years. I provided another proposal at the request of Ms. Kazanecki. The proposal simply provides an area of paved street in front of 2377. This area is similar to what's found in all of the other driveways on the street, as well as all the properties that you guys own in the village. It's different. The only difference is it's slightly smaller than what the village average would be. In doing this, it provides for continued use of the right-of-way by 2373 property, which the engineer somehow believes is an entitlement, but it's not legally required, and the other areas on the street don't have it either. Finally, it should have little, if any, impact on water drainage. If they have to, there's some changes that could be made there. I hope you had time to review this proposal, and I continue to believe that the 2377 property should not be restricted in paved area any different than any of the other properties. It should be the same. It was that way for 60 years prior to the area being modified. I thank you for your time. If you do discuss the proposal, I would like to have you open up the discussion so that if there's questions, I can answer them, and if there's misunderstandings, I can correct them. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark James. I'm an attorney with Maddenhauser, Roth, and Heller. My address is 1 Town Center, Southfield, Michigan, 48076. I represent Mr. and Mrs. Joe and Amy Goodison. The one thing that Mr. Daly said that's correct is this hideous situation has been going on for 11 years, and it needs to end. It needs to end tonight. Mr. Daly has been here time and time again complaining about the parking situation. He seems to have a lot of information about what the historical uses of the property was. Maybe he should have looked at that before he bought the property. He'd be a much happier person at this point in time. I think he needs to get a new hobby. He seems to spend a lot of time researching this and coming before this board, coming before this council, complaining about the parking. Mr. and Mrs. Goodison respectfully requests this council to put an end to this. You have the power to do that tonight. None of the proposals are going to fix this problem. None of the proposals are going to make Mr. Daly happy. And that's really what we're dealing with. Is Mr. Daly happy or is he not?
Mr. James, I just think we're talking about the parking, so.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, talking about Mr. Daly. It's trying to keep it to the parking.
Okay.
Yeah.
The parking isn't a problem. The Goodisons park in their driveway. They live on a lake. They have visitors from time to time. When the visitors come, they park in the road like all the other neighbors. The only difference is there is a neighbor who doesn't appreciate that. Please disregard this proposal. Please disregard Mr. the neighbor's requests and put this to bed this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Goodison, 2373 Ventura. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I don't like talking in front of people. For many years, we've tried to avoid this and escalating this matter, and we trusted that it would be viewed for what it is, a personal grievance rather than a safety issue. But the ongoing nature of these complaints has left us no choice but to address it openly. Unfortunately, this has been a pattern for many years. My family has experienced for the past 13 years goes beyond safety. It reflects a long pattern of one neighbor's repeated and persistent focus on my household. Over the years, he's raised concerns about matters that most families would be considered ordinary parts of their lives: where they park, where they put their garbage cans, where their kids play in their own yard. My children grew up knowing that they were being closely watched and reported on. That's not normal or healthy for any family. If he were truly concerned about the safety of the neighborhood, he would change his aggressive driving habits and drive not against the flow of traffic into his own driveway and maybe slow down a bit. Those are legitimate safety issues. From our perspective, it's not about safety, it's about control. This is not just our experience, but the experience of delivery drivers, contractors, city workers, and other neighbors who have come before this board most recently. And they shared their opinions also and how they viewed his actions. They were clear. They felt that our street does not have a safety problem, that one issue is a repeated complaint from one individual. It's important to consider how unusual the situation is. In what part of this village would a resident be told where to park in their own driveway, where their children can play in their yard, or where the deliveries for delivery trucks can park? By continuing to entertain these complaints, this council unintentionally gives them validation. If the proposal is approved, it will not protect the community. It will instead send the message that persistent complaints, even when unreasonable, can dictate how one family lives. That sets a precedence of selective enforcement, which is not best for our community. We fully respect the work of the council, and we appreciate the time and energy of the dedicated volunteers here for the good of the community. We know that you want to be fair and that you want a lasting solution. That is all we're asking for too: fairness and equal treatment. If a concern were truly safety, then the standard would be applied consistently across the village and not imposed by one family that lives on a quiet dead-end street. We are not seeking special treatment. We only want the same peace of mind and fairness that everyone in this community deserves. Please step back and ask yourselves, do we want to live in a place where one person's ongoing grievances and obsession can determine how another family is allowed to live? We trust that your answer will be no, and we respectfully ask you not to allow this pattern to be the standard for the village.
Tom Daly, 2377. I'm very confused right now because everything that was just said there by both members have so many issues that are not actually correct, that I don't even know and couldn't even try and explain or try and have anybody understand. What I've come to the council with 3 times over 11 years were requests to be able to exit my property in a manner that's no different than anyone else in the village. Everyone has street front that goes out 20 feet in front of them, okay? And they don't have people parking in front of their driveway the way that it's been set up. That's all I've asked for. Why anybody is upset with me for asking for that to be reviewed or for that to be considered and for me to have the same thing that everyone else in this village has, I don't understand. I don't even understand where this discussion is coming from. I don't understand why there's alleged things that I've never done before, and I'm trying to be made out as some bad person for asking for the village to actually provide me with the same means that everybody else in the village has. So I guess I can't say anything because I don't know what any of those things that they're talking about are. I mean, is it really unreasonable for me to be asking for there to be 20 feet out in front of my house, just like there is on everybody else's house, so that I can go and I can drive straight out of my house and not have to drive around vehicles? Right? I mean, obviously somebody needs to review those pictures that I've given to you guys because they don't show that there's not an issue. They show there is an issue, and it's an issue I've been trying to have addressed by the council for 11 years. But once every 4 years, this comes up again because there's enough information to put forward. You guys looked at the information, you said there is an issue there, and you said you would help me address it. That's why I continue to come here. Do you think it makes me feel good to come here every week or every month? It doesn't. But I don't understand these personal grievances or why it's being turned into a personal grievance. It has nothing to do with that. It never has, and it never will. So, thank you. I mean, I don't see where it's changed. What's been said here changes anything. The issue still exists. It's not personal in any nature. So I'm asking for you guys to make public property, just like everybody else uses the public property in front of their house. Thank you.
Just like my comment as council, we're here obviously addressing the parking. That's what parking and some other issues. And we're being brought into some matters that are beyond that. So in front of us right now is this parking. What the relationship is completely independent of that. And that's where the council sits with that right now. So just so everybody's aware of that, you know, whatever, because get a strong feeling there's a lot of personal things going on here, and understandably, but we're addressing the parking concerns and, you know, right-of-way concerns. So just, you know, for future, and that's where we're at. Anything beyond that has no basis with the council. Anybody else with first call?
Motion to close? Second.
We have a motion to close and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're gonna close first call. Consideration approving the following consent agenda.
Motion to approve as presented?
We have a motion to approve by Duff,
Second.
second by O'Brien. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yeah.
Jermini?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. Kiznicki?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
All right. Board appointments. We don't have any?
None tonight. Thank you.
All right. 10 presentations. I think we have Commerce Township right here regarding pathway planning.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Larry Gray. I'm supervisor for Commerce Township. Tonight I'm here joined by George Weber, Township Trustee, Rick Soul, Township Trustee, our Parks and Recs Director, Emily England, our Planning Director, Dave Campbell, and one of our Pathways Committee member, Stephen Mitchell. Tonight, we wanted to come and speak to the Village of Wolverine in reference to what we've been looking at for pathways for the last couple of years. Back in late 2022 through early 2023, we had a survey that we had out at all our pathways where residents could scan and do a survey question on pathways and where we're at. With that, we had approximately 1,150 respondents. With looking through the addresses that were given, we figured that about 125, 150 of those were actually residents of the Village of Wolverine. I want to just bring to the point that we did see your vision statement for your Parks and Recs master plan. And part of your master plan for the 2026 through 2030 years is the Village of Wolverine will offer residents access to high-quality recreational system, providing a diverse set of experiences that are safe, fun, and helpful to nurture a sense of community. So tonight we want to talk about that a little bit on behalf of Commerce Township. With the survey that was sent out, we had quite a bit of response. As I mentioned, we had approximately 1,150. 75% of those folks that responded said that they would like pathways to have more connections and more destinations. So right now, our pathway systems between the two communities, Commerce Township and Wolverine Lake, we do have a decent pathway system, but we feel that we need to look at possibly growing that system for everybody. 45% of the people that responded that says they do not use the pathway system, they said that the reason they do not use the system is because there's not enough access. There's not enough destinations. So there's a lot of people out there that would like to use our pathways, both in Commerce and Wolverine Lake, to go to places, ride their bikes and go get dinner and so forth. And 90% of the people that responded said they would support a millage to move pathways forward. During the recent Oakland County Parks and Recs millage, the Village of Wolverine Lake residents passed nearly 2-1 a vote to pass the millage. The votes were actually 1,756 yes versus 970 no, which actually passed the Oakland County Parks millage. I sent this out to everybody, and I just have this, I don't know if on the cameras or not, but currently right now, our pathways, this is what we have. This does not include sections of sidewalk, that we have in front of businesses and so forth. But we're really limited on what we have for our residents in Commerce and in Wolverine Lake. And I did not include the pathways that go up through Lake Lucille and all that stuff. This is just physical pathways along the roadway. So if you look at the current map they have in front of you, in Commerce Township, we have the Lakes Community Trail that runs approximately 4.6 miles. It goes all the way from basically our Byers Farm all the way up to Bass Lake Road by Proud Lake. I'm sorry, not Bass Lake Road. Oakland Park Road by Proud Lake. And it also intervenes with your Wolverine Lake pathway. The Wolverine Lake pathway that we have approximately, we show approximately has about 2.8 miles of pathway. This is where it goes from Wall Lake Central all the way down up Glengarry Road through the neighborhoods and then down Benson Road, across a bridge, and then ends at McCoy. We also have the MDOT pathway, which comes from 14 Mile Road up to our bridge for our Michigan Airline Trail, which approximately is 1.4 miles of pathway that residents can use. And then we have our Michigan Airline Trail that runs from the border of Wall Lake all the way to the border of Wixom, or West Bloomfield, which is approximately 3.4 miles of pathway. So currently right now what we have to offer our residents is approximately 12.2 miles of pathways for use in basically a 36 square mile radius. So what we're looking to do is see how can we improve outdoor activity for our residents to get to destinations, go out, get outside, enjoy the outside, and just stop playing video games and watching TV. So this here, right here, it currently shows what we have, and that's your page 1. Page 2 is our new trail map. And what you'll have there is you'll see a heat map on how much population density that we have throughout the township. What we're looking at doing is we're looking at putting in a system that would be an artery system for future pathways, meaning how can we connect all 4 corners of our communities together, and then with that, then reach out to the other pathways that are not, connectable, where we have sections here, sections there. So you'll see what we're looking to do right now is we're looking to run pathways throughout the system. The way that we came up with these pathways is these are direct results of the survey that we had. So we're looking to run a pathway from basically Duck Lake Road up to Huron Valley Hospital, and then from Huron Valley Hospital to what we call the Commerce Village area, and then from the Commerce Village area all the way up to Union Lake Road. So that would connect completely east to west of Commerce Township. And then from basically the village area, we would like to connect from the village area up to Wall Lake Northern. That would give us a nice artery for going north and south to that area. And then we would like to also look at doing, adding a pathway from Wolverine Lake, from your current pathway, all the way down to the Michigan Airline Trail. What that would allow your residents, our residents in Commerce Township, to hit the Michigan Airline Trail and go to Kalamazoo or Port Huron, wherever they want to go, and everywhere in between. I don't know if you're familiar with the Michigan Airline Trail, but it does go from Port Huron to Kalamazoo. That is one benefit. Another artery that we feel that we definitely need would be a pathway along Welsh Road, and that would be from Oakley Park Road all the way to the Michigan Airline Trail, with including a pathway along Oakley Park Road. We are dedicated to doing this. For those of you that have driven by our Richland Senior Center, I don't know if you noticed, but we just put a pathway in front of Richland Senior Center. A lot of folks go, the pathway goes to nowhere. It's going to go somewhere someday. So we're looking to do sections like this. So we feel that this is the main artery system to get everything going, to get everything moving. We're looking at doing a 10-year millage for this. And what we're planning on doing is bonding this millage out so we can get all these improvements done within 3 years, is what we're looking to do. Once we have this completed, this will be our new pathway system that we can build on from there. The new pathway system that we're looking to propose to all our residents is 9.5 miles. Of new pathway systems, which will have our new pathway systems be over 21 miles of access for everybody to get onto a pathway, get out and exercise, get out and see different destinations. Along with these pathways, I forgot to mention, but like with Welsh Road, this will serve the northern portion of Wolverine Lake. Folks will be able to get on Welsh Road and be able to go out and join our new 5 in Main project. That is up and running. Hopefully we'll see a lot of things going on in the next 6 months, but that entertainment spot will be open, so they'll be able to go there. As well as with the new pathway system, you'll see with our heat map, it's going to connect the high-density areas of the entire township, Wolverine Lake, and Wall Lake areas. So not only will folks be able to go into Wall Lake, they'll be able to come into Wolverine Lake for businesses as well as into Commerce for businesses as well. The current rate for a mile of pathway is approximately $1.5 million per mile. We are looking to, as I mentioned previously, to add about 10 miles of pathway systems throughout the township of Wolverine Lake. So we're going to be looking to have on the November 2026 ballot a mill rate of anywhere from 0.5% to 0.6% to cover this cost. So what we're here tonight to discuss or ask for is to see if you, the village board, would be willing to talk with your residents in Wolverine Lake and participate in this millage to help this come to fruition. We are also planning on using grants to complete these projects. We already have a grant through the federal government that will connect for those of you who use our pathway on Glengarry Road. Right now, it currently goes into Gilbert Willis Park. That will connect to the pathways, the new pathways by Oakview or Oakside, our new subdivision up there, and we'll take you all the way into Wixom and connect Wixom's pathways so our residents can get to Wixom and Wixom residents can come use our park systems. So that part of the process is already completed. So with that, I know I threw a lot out there, but we're just looking to see what you folks would be interested in your residents participating in this program.
Yeah, I'd support it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Due to all these spots, although it's hard to see the roads that are underneath them.
Okay.
And it seems to be, in my opinion, a pretty good-sized distance between Glengarry Road and Welsh. What about South Commerce?
So Glengarry, you guys have a path already from Glengarry up to South Commerce. So at South Commerce, you cross the road and then come across Richardson Road that would take you down Oakview Park Road to the Welch. We do have a land available here on, is that here on Trailway, right? That would,
Right away for the Huron Parkway.
yeah, so we do have right-of-way for Huron Parkway that is right at the end of Glengarry and South Commerce that could take you all the way to Welch. A lot of wetlands in there, so that will be a future project, but for what we're looking to do right now, it would not fit into the financials that we're looking at currently.
I guess is what I was thinking is the area from Pontiac Trail, South Commerce, up to where Central is.
On South Commerce Road?
South Commerce Road, yeah.
So it'd be around the eastern side of the lake?
The eastern side, like, yeah, because that seems to be, it's hard for me to see where it's at, but it's a lot of red right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, so again, when we were looking at these pathways, we looked at the responses that we looked at. We looked at what would be something that we could build a main artery system on.
Okay.
And then from there, branch out from there. We do in Commerce, and you folks do as well in Wolverine Lake as being part of Commerce. We have multiple sidewalks that go nowhere.
Yeah.
And we're looking to get the artery system in place and then use grants, through SEMCOG, through the state, through the federal government to connect those pathways to go above and beyond this. But again, on page 2 that in your pamphlet I gave you there, those are the main arteries that we're looking to complete with this millage that we're looking to put on in November of 2026. So we're not trying to hide it in the August election. We want everybody to have the opportunity to vote on this.
Well, just looking at this, I see the north side of Wolverine Lake has plenty of access to all the pathways, but the south side, especially the southeast side, has absolutely no access. I transpose everything through, I live on Wabasso and Shankin, the corner there.
Yep.
There's no path for me to get to any trail within a 3/4 of a mile, maybe even a mile. I'd have to ride on the gravel shoulder of South Commerce. So if we're gonna take this to the residents and ask them to pay a 0.5% millage, they're gonna wanna know what kind of access they have.
And again,
I'm
we
not
can't
seeing a lot of
serve every
access.
single resident that we have, in Wolverine Lake and Commerce Township. We are looking to build an artery system to get the pathway system moving forward.
Yep.
And once we have these in place, to be able to use grants to connect everything. You know, again, where you're at over in Wabasso, you know, you might be able to cut through the neighborhood and jump on this and get on the Michigan Airline Trail where you're not on the main road. Well, actually, you'd be on the main road there a little bit, I apologize, but.
No, but there's sidewalks to get there.
Yeah. So-
That way, but there's not sidewalks to get towards Central. So, I mean, maybe if you were to say, you know, this is what you're planning on doing, what, next year or the next
So,
number of years?
so the millage that we're looking to propose to all the voting residents would be a 10-year millage. And again, we're looking to bond that millage out so we can get everything done
So-
in a
so-
3 to 4 year timeframe. And during the remaining time of that millage, look to use grants, tap grants from SUMCOG, grants from the state, from the federal government to continue to spread this out. What we need to do is we need to focus on getting an artery system or a system in place so we can start to build out. Right
Sure.
now, we have nothing. We just have, you know, from page one, we have just a, you know, trail. Village Wolverine has a trail system coming from Wall Lake Central to your park and then down through the neighborhoods.
So the proposed regional pathways, so that's going to take how long to complete, the ones that you have on this?
We are hoping to have all that completed within a 4 year timeframe if it passes.
Okay, so, all right, 4 years.
Yep.
Because we're probably going to get asked, but the people on the south side of the lake are probably going to ask, well, how long before we see that? And we're going to have to explain to them that, you know, this is only going to happen over the next
Just
4
as I'm going to have
years.
to explain to people up here on Union Lake Road
Yeah,
where they're at. Again,
okay,
it's something that we need to get started to have an artery system to start spreading out from there.
sure, no, I understand.
Any other questions?
Larry, this is something that the township is committed to at this point in time?
So
The
this
township
is,
board?
we're approaching you folks to see if you would be committed for your residents to have it on their ballot. We will be presenting this to our township board. We've presented it one time already. We are going to be presenting that again to them at our special board meeting on October 28th with the actual plan that we have in place.
So when would you be looking for a decision or consensus from the village as to what the council's position is?
30 minutes ago? No, within the next month or so, we will, in order to do this, we have to go through proper steps to get the verbiage, the language put on the ballot. So we would be looking probably in April that we'd have to have everything submitted to get the proper language for our ballot in November. So, you know, in the next month or so would be fantastic.
I think we really have to figure out ourselves, find a way to gauge the community's interest in it.
Okay.
I think that'd be our first step. Actually reach out to our community and see, is there a large enough following for this, for us to move forward and give you a commitment?
Absolutely.
In a manner. Of course, everything's always down to the wire, but yeah, you need to see what all the neighbors like. Because one person loves the pass system, and the next people just, they couldn't care less. And if we're gonna raise a millage, then
Nope.
it's pocketbooks.
And if there's anything that we can do, you know, for questions or whatever, I hope I get a bunch more questions from your folks. I can give you my card, you can email me or call me, and, you know, we'll discuss it. But again, we've been working on this for, you know, a couple of years now. We think, you know, one of the things that we hear is, you know, that there's no way to get from point A to point B without getting in a car or do it safely. And unfortunately, we've talked to her blue in the face with the road commission, and the road commission does not allow us to put shoulders on the roads. Mr. Powell will let you know that, because that would be a very easy fix, if we could throw 3 or 4 feet on the side of a shoulder of a road, but we cannot do it. The road commission just does not want to do that. But before I'm done, I will pass my card out to all of you, and if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email, and we'll get your answers to you.
Larry, do you anticipate doing any other public outreach?
Well-
I know you've done all the surveys, and you've been talking about it at the township level, but outside of the township board meetings or any special meetings, do you anticipate having any workshops or information sessions for your residents that our residents might be able to attend as well?
Absolutely. So, once again, the work group that we have right now is some employees from the township as well as some elected officials. We also have 5 residents from the township who are starting to talk to their neighbors, but those work groups and reach outs are not going to start until we have approval from the township board to put this on the ballot.
Just one quick item. If we were to share these documents with the village and residents, I think they would share our thoughts, and it's very difficult to read with the heat map, so I'm
Okay.
wondering if there might be a way to take the heat map off of that page 3 to just kind of give a visual of the actual streets that are behind that.
Yeah, Dave Campbell will have that to me tomorrow, and I'll have that to you.
Thank you.
We can also provide you an FAQ, like we've done for projects in the past, that you can put out to your residents.
Yeah, and can I just say that I've been over these pathways for 20 years now at the village, and the entire village is walkable, except the portion of South Commerce that's south of Glengarry Road.
Okay.
So if there was a piece you could do there, it would be a lot easier for the council to get people on board to support that. If there was a way you could manage it, it's like a half a mile, so.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Anybody else, any other questions?
Anything else?
I'm sorry,
Yes.
I must have dozed off. What was the mill?
Right now, we're looking at, we're looking at .5 to .6.
0.5 points, okay.
10-year.
10 years,
10 years.
correct.
Yeah, I got the 10 years in the 4-year time frame, but I didn't get the mill rate. Thank you.
Yep,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Let's do, letter B, ABM Building Solutions.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Tony, I'm with ABM. We are a infrastructure company, energy solution company. Hello to the council, to the president. I thank you for letting me present to you tonight. I believe they gave you a handout of what I'm presenting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll just kind of go through it, kind of go page by page. We'll go over it. So right now I'm on the key takeaways. And let me just tell you what our company does so we have a good starting point. What we do is we partner with municipalities to do infrastructure upgrades. The way we do that is we harness the power of your operating budget. So we look for monies within your operating budget, so there's no tax increase, and we try to find monies within your operating budget to build out a infrastructure project. And so we met with Mr. Gilliam and we presented a proposal. He said, well, bring it before the council and see how they feel about it. So on the key takeaways here, I'm just going to go through each slide. I want to go kind of quickly just for time's sake. But you can say, how do we do that? We look for infrastructure in your existing funding. We build projects to your budget. We look at your capital exposure risks, and we guarantee our results. So if we say there's an energy savings of 10 million, we stand by it. So what does that mean? That means that we build out a project and we say we quoted you an energy savings, let's just stick with the 10 million number, and you come back and you say, you know what, this is falling, 500,000 short of what you promised. Then we get our checkbook and we write you a check for 500,000. So we guarantee the energy savings for the projects that we spec out for you. And we also have no change orders. If you ever do any type of infrastructure project, one of the big things is change orders. You might get a contract price for a spec and bid, say it's $2 million. By the time you get done with the project, you're probably going to be paying like $2.5 million because the contractors will keep coming back and say, hey, we got change orders. We handle the change orders, so you get no change orders. So when we look at the next slide, what we talk about is a fiscal cliff, where there's a funding gap. Your revenues are staying the same, resource demands are going up. And that's why this type of plan is developed, because communities, villages, townships, they still need to progress. And without those resources coming in the door a lot of times from the federal government, it becomes straining. So the adverse effects on the community are overburden general fund, deferred spending, needed for update infrastructure, and I like the two at the end, the safety and security and new technologies. When you don't have capital coming in and you don't want to raise taxes, you have to find somewhere to get the money from. And looking at your harnessing the power of your operating budget is how we like to present it. So this is a kind of a deep dive of what I looked at you guys. Your population is about 4,500. The general fund in 2023 was 3.4 million, and expenditures are 3.16. You have a total of about 4 buildings, and you have a lot of energy usage on your motors and your pumps in your lake. And that's kind of what drew me to when I was looking around. That's what drew me to you, just looking at the energy spend you're spending there. So this is our kind of secret sauce. If you look at the funding solution, we go by and we look at everything. And this is on slide 6. We look at your energy, your capital avoidance, lost productivity, administrative, parts and materials, major repairs, contractor services, house staffing. We don't necessarily try to affect your house staffing as who you hire or who you don't hire, but definitely your overtime rate. If you're calling in a guy to fix a pump that keeps going out or HVAC system that keeps going out, that's cutting into your budget. So we try to convert reduced expenditures into capital. So on the next slide here kind of shows you what we do with your utilities. So if we partner in this process, we would ask for a year's worth of your utilities. And what we come up with is what we call a benchmark. So you see this cost per square foot where you see $1.32. In this example, that's the benchmark of how much they're spending per square foot on energy. And we give that to our engineers benchmark that against other projects that we have done, and we come up with a target per square foot. So in this example, you went from $1.32 to 98 cents. That's a 25% savings. Okay, so that comes up to $160,000. We go to the next slide. If you take that $160,000, and for every dollar that you save on energy, you also save an operational dollar. They usually want to go hand in hand. So you take that 160, and then this one put 100,000. That we kind of just average low, and you add those together times 20 years. That's $5 million that you can fund a project with. And we'd also have a grant program, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So this is a performer that we also do. We call it a CVA too, but it's basically a performer. And we partner with you guys on doing this because we also look at your capital risk exposure, as we talked about earlier on. So we look at every piece of equipment you have. So we'll partner with somebody, one of your facility guys, we'll walk through and we'll kind of label each piece of equipment, A, B, C, D, F, depending on how much life it has in it. So in this particular example, you can see you have a lot of Ds in there. If you look over to the end of the slide, you can see that some pieces of equipment have 0 years, some pieces have 10 years. The part that, really caught my attention when I first looked at this slide was your capital exposure risk over time. Now, mind you, this is a slide, but 0 to 5 years, that's $13 million. Just from carrying old equipment, HVAC systems that you keep repairing. These things add up. So we talked about alternative revenue sources grants. We have a grant writing team. So, if you ever put in for a grant, it's a logistic process. We have a grant writing team. Grants are giving out, throughout a year for different things. We'll have a grant writing team, and we'll be doing this. The grant writing team will be working in tandem with us as we develop a project for you. So we find X amount of dollars in energy savings. We're also going to be looking for grants that come through to set up a infrastructure monies for you. So the key benefits is we use critical infrastructure through guaranteed energy savings and operational savings. We're a turnkey solution. So there's one person to choke if anything goes wrong, it's us. And no change orders. So this is a case study on slide 12. And this is what we did in St. Joseph County. We found $2.6 million in energy savings over 15 years. That was just you doing LED lights, HVAC system, building automation, and improved ventilation in the building, and the envelope seal. So if you have a building and have a bunch of holes in it, all of the holes equal a big hole. So we go through a building, we make sure it's sealed up perfectly. But that's $2.6 million just in energy savings. And that was just in this particular example. And I think I have sent some examples to you guys on Union City, I believe, one of the examples I included. So our timeline will be how do we start this process is first, I present it, to Mr. Gilliam, I present it to you guys, and then we do an MOU. Our MOU is a memorandum of understanding. So what that in details is basically you allow us to come in, take a look at your infrastructure, and you give us a year's worth of utility bills. There's no cost to you. If we look at this and say, there's nothing here, you walk away. We don't give you a bill or anything like that. So this is just a process of kind of identifying, what you guys have as far as your facilities, what you guys have as far as your spending, and is there enough savings here to equal a project? Any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't go too fast through it.
So would we be using specific contractors for updates if we were to move forward with your recommendations? Or how does that look? Like, let's say we decide to move forward, there are recommendations for the village to take to,
And if you have
are we using your contractors, or how does that work?
If you have contractors that you want us to work with, we will work with the contractors that you want us to work with. We're not we're agnostic company in that respect. We don't sell, like, some people might come in here and they're trying to sell you something. They make furnaces on the back end, so they want you to get their furnace. We don't make equipment like that. We provide a service of trying to figure out how we can get you the most dollars for infrastructure projects. So that's our focus. Who we obviously we're going to use a good HVAC vendor, or we're going to use a good, engineers for your pumps under thing. We're going to find the best, but we want to make sure that we get you the best dollar savings.
And then what does your fee structure look like moving forward?
Usually our fee structure is 10%. After the memorandum, if we decide to move forward, we would do an MDA, a contract. Our fee structure is usually 10% of what the total project is. And we commission, project management, engineer, and procure. So that's how we're set up. And it's usually 10% of whatever the total plan is.
Would we have to move forward with the entire project, or can we have like a scope of project
No.
that we move forward with first?
Like in the second slide, you can build it to what you want.
Okay.
So if you want to say, that's not something we want to address, we're just looking at energy savings. And me and Mr. Good were talking, we were really focused on your lakes and the amount of motors you have down there. That's a huge energy spend.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, for the St. Joseph County, there's $2.6 million in savings. What was the cost of their project? You said the cost of the project, so what was your?
That one I'm not, to be quite honest, I use that slide, but I don't know what the total cost of their project was. I don't want to just make up a fictional number.
Okay.
I can look into it and send you that. I can send you some more case studies of what the total cost of the project is. But usually the energy savings and the costs are the same. So the idea is that you walk away and you're not necessarily coming off no more money. So we're not going to, our thing is not to get you an energy savings of $2.6 million and then give you a bill for $5 million. And where you're making, so I think that's kind of where you're going with that. That's not our thought process.
Yeah, I'm just saying if it was a $2.6 million in energy savings, but it was a $2 million cost on it, so just the net savings is $600,000.
Yeah, well,
That's what I'm looking for. It's a nice number, but what's the overall?
Well, everybody does whatever project, we find a net savings, then what projects you choose to do, you choose to do. So it might be a net savings to where you're making money on it. A lot of projects, we include solar. So solar is a lot of savings, but the time for solar is like 20 years. But it's a lot of savings when you use solar. So it depends on how we structure. Every project's different.
Okay. So the initial part of it, you need the utility bills and some other information, you assess and...
Can I report you? Yeah, sure. This is just a memorandum of understanding that we're working through that. I just wanted you to see how it looks.
That is included in the information.
Yeah, this is included, yeah. It's in the back of the packet. Thank you.
Tony, question for you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the fact you've got a team of grant writers. Depending upon the type of improvements, I think it's probably safe to say that we'd have to do some competitive bidding for example, new pumps for the pump stations.
Yes.
Would your staff be in a position to help us with the competitive bidding process? Or is that something that would fall on the village staff?
You talking about who would you use to replace those?
In terms of just putting the projects out to bid. Say we decide to go forward, we do the MOU, you come back with a proposal, in 2 months or 6 months that just knocks our socks off. And we decided we want to, go ahead and go forward with the project. See, we're going to be replacing all the pumps at our pump houses. Under our charter and just general good business practice, we'd be putting that work out to competitive bidding.
RFP.
Yeah, an RFP. Would your staff be in a position to help us with the RFP?
Oh, yeah.
Or is that something that would
Yeah,
fall in the village?
we could help you with the RFP or RFQ if you want to do it that way. We also work through a co-op process. So whichever you're familiar, if your village requires a RFP, then yes, we would help with the RFP. We just worked on one yesterday, actually.
Okay.
I just have a question about this case study for St. Joseph.
Yes, sir.
It says that 2.6 million in energy and operational savings over 15 years. Is that assuming no replacements of any equipment over that 15 years? Or is that assuming additional replacements? Because for instance, an HVAC system, I'm not sure what a commercial one is like, but a residential one is, we've got about a 15, 20-year lifespan.
Yes.
Pumps. I know no idea on pumps. I got to assume since they run all the time, it's probably shorter.
Well, when we sit down and build out a scope, and we work with our developers and engineers, we build it out, that's why we guarantee our energy savings. So that's included within that. So if we're saying 2.6 million, if that requires a new pump within that, then that would be put in the contract.
Okay, so that'll all be explained. When you say you can save us $2.6 million over 15 years, you're going to show that, well, you are going to have to spend this additional money in year 5, year 10, whatever, to replace these pumps again, because they'll need it, these pieces of equipment, for instance, police cars, we buy new police cars, what, every 3-4 years? And they were small, they were short life.
And you make a good point, and we're not just, we do the project and we walk away, we actually follow back up with you. So we're actually trending this with you in tandem, as the years progress, to make sure that our numbers are meeting spec. So to speak to your point, if something's going out, then that should have been spoke of, okay, this life of this is going to be 5 years, this is spec'd out for 15 years, so that's how it would be addressed, but we're going to be going in tandem along with you. This is a process.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, because where I retired from, in the accounting department, we did this ourselves. So we kept track of all the repairs to each piece of equipment and made the decision when to replace, and then on top of that, we'd make a buy or lease decision based on interest rates and things at that time.
And that's why we do a CVA, a pro forma on your equipment, so we can gauge out, okay, this is going to last you 15 years, this only has 2 years left on it. So when we give you facts and figures, it's going to include all of that, based on the pro forma of currently what you have and what we're going to put in there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate your time, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know if this is something that council wants to consider, if council is comfortable at this point. There is a draft of an MOU that was included in the materials tonight. If council wants to move forward at this time, then the appropriate action would be to approve the memorandum of understanding at this point, and then to authorize the village administrator to execute the MOU on behalf of the village. Or we can bring it back in the future. It's council's pleasure.
There's no initial cost for that.
Yeah, there's no financial obligation whatsoever.
Correct.
And after we would come back, and just like I'm presenting now, after we did a kind of a deep dive into your facility, we would come back and do a presentation. So we would say, okay, this is where you are here, this is where you're here. So, and we have you met some of our engineers, we have a team of engineers that come out and do this. So I'm sorry I'm here by myself, and one of my managers will come and fight that. So sorry I'm here by myself.
That's right.
Yeah, other than some staff time, I mean, Jennifer's pretty much already pulled together all the utility information that we'd have to provide for them. There wasn't a lot of work, so there isn't a lot of work on. I think the heavy lifting comes in after we do get an actual proposal for them in terms of digesting the proposal and then deciding whether or not it's something that's worth the village pursuing. But at this point, I don't see a lot of risk right after, or a big downside. So.
I agree on that. Don't either.
So I'd make a motion, we approve the memorandum and move forward with the MOU for preliminary assessment as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Claiborne, second by Jeremini. Any discussion with that? Did quite a bit already. There's no money's involved, too. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries, we can approve that. So, guys been contacted?
Yeah, Tony, we'll get the MOU executed, we'll get over to you for Richard Phelps to execute as well. And we'll gather the information you're looking for, and then we'll take it from there. So, roughly timeframe when, I understand the ball's in our court at this point in time to get you some information. But
As soon as you give me the information, I'll get it out to our engineers. And the turnaround time when you're coming out here, I would imagine will be probably quicker than versus later. If I know the end of the year coming up, I know we want to get these kind of things straightened out before the holiday.
Okay, so I'm just, again, ballpark, when do you think ABM would be prepared to come back to the village with an actual proposal for a project?
I would hope to do it before the end of the year. That would be my expectation.
Okay.
I mean, I'll get our engineers out here, we walk around, and then we go back and kind of scope it out. And that was my expectation. So this is October, we're going to meeting in December also.
Yeah.
So probably December timeframe, maybe November.
Okay, just so everybody has an idea, that's all I'm looking for. So, yeah.
This to,
Tony, I'll be in touch. Oh, yeah, feel free, yeah.
brings us to C, recommendations and updates from Mr. Powell.
Good evening, council. The Clara Miller Park Cycle Challenge, as you know, we were approached by a contractor whose son really enjoys the BMX track, and this contractor would like to tweak it a little bit. I have texted him a couple times, and I called him directly, and he has not gotten back to me with his insurances nor his timing. I'm going to assume that this time of the year, since he's in the business of earthwork, he's probably trying to move all his earth this time of the year, and he's very busy, but he has not returned my calls nor my texts. We've put the burden on him, and each time I've texted him and called him, I've told him that we are not pressing for time. We have all fall until the ground freezes. He could probably even wait until spring because it's a very sandy base material. But he has not gotten back to us, so I just wanted to bring up to you that each time I've gone by there, I've seen kids playing, whether they have their little three-wheelers or they're just running up and down the track versus their bikes, but I've seen activity there. So it's still being used, but that contractor has not gotten back to me yet. Item number 2, fortunately, it worked out to where Goddard Surfacing did get back to us, and we had a meeting today out on site. Administrator Gillum, Mark Giamatti, myself, and Chris from Goddard Coatings met out there. We all concluded that the cracking that has occurred is more than what we expected. We always expected cracking, but the cracks are larger than what we expected, and there's certainly some spalling going on. I'd certainly welcome Mark's, Councilman Mark Giamatti's input. The contractor suggested that maybe we wait until spring and have them come back, do a measurement, and make a recommendation as to what they might do to temporarily repair some of the cracking. The other alternative was to just do minimal crack repair, since for normal people, let's put it that way, it's probably not impacting their using of the sports court. Tournament people would disagree with me on that. Pickleball people are very detail oriented, let's put it that way. But next spring, they would then give us some indication of what the cost would be to either repair the cracks or how much you might want to save each year in order to do a full-blown surface replacement or replace all the, at least the pickleballs and maybe the other courts with concrete, some more permanent than asphalt. But I'd be very curious to know what what Councilman Giamani's impressions were.
Sure. Appreciate that Chris Perkins from Goddard Coatings was able to come out. He provided a lot of input. He certainly knows his topic really well, and his expertise really showed. And I think that was one of the first things I took away was that we as council needed to hear from him a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago when we were talking about this and getting started on the process. I think that's one of the biggest things is just for us more broadly as a council, we need to expect more input from specialists in their relative fields, particularly when we're talking about projects like this that there isn't a lot of familiarity. It's not a regular thing. It's something relatively unique. Some of the things he talked about was he's rarely, if ever, encountered courts being repaired in the way that we went about it. So that is not a regular thing where you bore out the cracks, fill them in with new asphalt, and then go about the resurfacing. He suggested, or he had said that if he had come out and seen the cracks that we had originally, he probably would have suggested fully tearing up the courts and redoing them completely, or he may have recommended what they have, which is called the right-way system, which is kind of what we were getting quoted for last month, which involves filling in the cracks with an acrylic compound, adding a cloth tape, and then adding on top of that a fiberglass layer. That won't crack, but there will be shifting underneath, and eventually, after 5 years, it'll fail again. Things will happen again. You'll have to redo the right-way system, and it was not cheap on a linear foot basis. So, the damage that's happening to the courts, it's happening all along the seams. It's partially perhaps a byproduct of not just that the old asphalt and new asphalt are shifting. It's the layers of materials are different hardness levels, and that could be creating more stress and tension in there and causing a little bit more of what's happening to occur. I don't think us going ahead and trying to fill these in with another expensive option is going to get us very far. I think regardless, in 5 years or so, this council, the next council, will be having the same discussion of what to do. And that the best option is to admit that this didn't work out the way that we would have hoped, and instead start saving and setting aside funds to plan for a full resurfacing, whether that's asphalt or going concrete can be discussed. But more broadly, if we are going to set expectations of having courts that are really usable, that have a relatively long lifespan, we're going to have to go that route. He had mentioned we got lucky. We are very fortunate with the courts we had that they lasted as long as they did. 40 years is not the norm. It's not the expectation. You're talking more 20 to 25 if you're fortunate. I think that was part of the problem with this project. I don't believe council had the proper expectations set. I think we thought, at least I know I thought, that we would have a better outcome. I think that we'd have fewer cracks. Having toured other courts in the area, courts that were done by Goddard, but that were done with fresh asphalt entirely or fresh surface, they are it's night and day. And so I think that going forward, we need to be looking at things more critically and getting input from those that really know their topic to avoid errors like we had here. And we've had in other projects at times as well. And that's going to happen because this is not perfect. We know that. There's so many variables that go into these kinds of projects and with what's underneath the ground and so forth. So, but overall, my biggest recommendation would be that I think we should do the minimal repairs that we can do now to at least keep them playable, but then start setting aside funds for a much larger capital expenditure in the future.
Thank you for meeting with them.
No, absolutely.
That being said, if we could piggyback on that a little bit, what might we do? Wait till spring and then have Goddard come in and give us a quote to extend the life of the courts a little bit longer and for that 3 to 5 year until you can have the funds for a more extensive repair? Or what would your suggestion be?
I would say that would make sense. See what happens in the winter, and then see, is the minimal that we've talked about, that we discussed with Chris, is that gonna be effective on these specific areas, especially in specific areas where the cracking is more notable and significant? And again, just keeping it usable,
Yeah.
as opposed to, yes, it won't look as good visually, but that's, it doesn't look good now visually. So as long as it's usable, and the cracks aren't gonna, we can hopefully keep them from spreading too much or getting too much wider in the short term to buy time to make a better, take a better action in the future.
So I guess...
So springtime assessment?
Yeah, that's certainly what I would recommend as well.
Yep.
All right, very good. So in the springtime, I'll put on my calendar, and Administrator Gillum will as well, and we'll ask Goddard to come out. Maybe we'll even have a second opinion come out and give us another opinion as well, but we'll do that in the spring. All right, very good. Item number 3, the 2025 crack sealing program. I provided you with a quotation for doing that work, and exactly like last year, A&R Crack Sealing has held their costs. If you recall, every time we bid this project out, they've been about a quarter of the cost per lineal foot of the other closest bidder. Last year, council authorized not to rebid it, but to accept their same cost as last year. They have proposed holding that cost again this year, 60 cents per lineal foot. Therefore, my recommendation is to stay within budgeted funds, and I have a map that I've provided. I'm not exactly sure if you have that. Hopefully you do. But it's my recommendation as to how they would move around the village, starting with Glengarry Road and moving clockwise around the village, not doing the roads that are the next to be repaved, even though we're looking to skip next year. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to put money into those roads if they're already deteriorated. And this is my recommendation, again, to stay within budgeted funds.
Motion to approve the crack sealing program at 60 cents per linear foot, 14,000 per, or not to exceed 14,000 per local roads and 8,000 for the major roads, as presented.
Okay, motion by Duff.
Second.
Second by Newman. Any discussion? I think they've identified, they've gone around and looked at the actual...
They have, and I have. We did not go through and actually measure what they do. They actually measure as they put it down.
Okay.
They know, every time I request something, they say, Mike, this isn't our first rodeo. They've been doing it here in the village for 10, 12 years. And so they do not do any areas that are overly broken up. And so they just go all the way around the village, and let's put it this way, they typically want to provide the service, and then they know what our budget is.
So a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Newman?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes. All right.
The last item is really some discussion may be needed. We have 10 grinder pumps left at the Commerce Township Treatment Plant. We have 3 of those already actually paid for, in that we have 3 residences who were part of the Special Assessment Connection SAD that still haven't connected yet. So if they request to be tied in, they've paid their assessment. Because they've waited so long, the cost of the grinder pumps have gone up, the cost of the labor's gone up, so they have some out-of-pocket that they have to still pay for. But we would like not to sell out all the grinder pumps if they come in, because they've actually already paid the majority of their fee. So we have 10 grinder pumps, 3 of which are already spoken for. Another one on Oak Island, will be requesting that to be installed. That will leave us a total of only 6 grinder pumps left in stock. Over the last couple of years, we've had installed approximately 10 per year. Commerce Township approached our office, and they are ordering a truckload, and they are able to allow us to piggyback on their order 10 to 15 grinder pumps. Truckload is 59 grinder pumps. So they're looking for as much of a truckload as they can. They're willing to accept 45 in that range, so they'd be willing to share a truckload. If you order a truckload, the delivery is for free, so there is no trucking fee. Our recommendation is to have council authorize 10 to 15 grinder pumps to be ordered. Commerce Township has always kept them for us at the wastewater treatment plant. Our installer, C&E Contracting, is the same contractor that Commerce Township uses, and the coordination is virtually seamless. When we receive a request from a resident, we design that installation, and then C&E actually goes and picks it up from the Commerce Township treatment plant. They do all the work with our inspection. They coordinate the final startup with currently the Oakland County Water Treatment, WRC, and then it's put in service. But I wanted to discuss it with council since we're getting low. Last year, council did not authorize any new treatment plants. I'm sorry, not treatment plants, grinder pumps. But I think we're low enough that we should take advantage of the Commerce Township ordering a new truckload this year. So somewhere between 10 and 15 units. Jennifer's here to discuss, but 10 units would be $48,600. 15 units would be $72,900. And remember, these are pass-through costs. So these are not general fund. They're purchased with general fund, but they're pass-through costs to the resident that purchases them.
Mike, if I remember correctly, too, the vendor that's providing the pumps to Commerce Township, and I forget when the last time was the township purchased pumps from this vendor, but they've held the price since the last time the township purchased pumps from them.
That is correct. They purchased last year when the village did not. They bought a truckload last year. The last time the village ordered it, we ordered 40 pumps 3 years ago, and that's where we're down to now six units that are not spoken for right now. So it's about 10 units per year is what we need to supply the village residents. But you're right, it hasn't changed over the past year. They're holding that. Just to give you a little bit, when the village first started installing sanitary sewers, we were getting these pumps for about $2,400, and they're now at about $4,800. So we did change vendors. Going to say approximately 6 years ago, because the other pumps went up substantially higher, and so a new vendor outbid them. And it's a quality unit that Oakland County has totally taken charge of the maintenance of these pumps.
Does Commerce order pumps every year?
Commerce orders at least one truckload every year, correct?
So we need 4 more for stock, but we have to order at least 10.
4 more, we would be out of pumps then probably by this time next year. You'd like maybe not to get that low. When we have been that low, Commerce Township has always been there to allow us to buy something from them, but then we have to replace it, and we have to then have the delivery fees added to it as well.
I make a motion that we purchase 10 grinder pumps, not to exceed 48,600.
Second.
I have a motion by Duff, second by Newman to approve purchase of 10. Any discussion? That gives us a year and a half of stock, basically.
Correct.
So 15 will give us 2 years.
Correct.
Any other discussion?
So are we hoping this time next year that Commerce is placing another order if we're out of stock? Is that where we're at?
Yes, we can always order them on our own, but then we would pay shipping.
I think it makes sense to go for 15, so we have a little bit more room from a timeline perspective.
Really, the only cost of the village is the holding cost. And the inventory cost.
That's correct.
That should be cost.
When you say holding cost, Commerce doesn't charge us to store them, but you're talking about the cost of funds,
The
right?
inventory cost,
Yeah,
right.
correct.
I agree with Aaron. I think we ought to just go for 15.
They're not going to go down in price, put it that way.
No, they're gonna go up.
All right, I'll amend the motion to go with 15 at 72.9.
Okay, amended motion and a second on that for purchase of 15, not to exceed 72.9. Let's have a roll call.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Knut?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Mike.
Mr. President, if I could just jump in and piggyback on that discussion for just a second. Just on the topic of the grinder pumps, I know there's been some discussion at the Water Management Board, and I just wanted to maybe clarify, make everyone clear as to what the village's position is. There seems to be a thought or some thinking that if someone in the village wants to connect to the sanitary sewer, that they have to use C&E, C&G.
C&E.
C&E, that's right. To make the connection, to install the grinder pump and make the connection. That's not entirely accurate, no. The bottom line is that whoever the homeowner wants to use to install the grinder pump and make the connection, they can use that contractor, provided that that contractor is on the list that's been pre-qualified by the Water Resource Commission. The county wants to know that whoever is putting the pump in and making the connection knows what they're doing before they turn them loose on the county's sewer system. So you can use anyone that you want. Generally, what our experience has been is that C&E is the cheapest option out there because they do so many. And they work with the county regularly, it's like clockwork. But if you're a homeowner in the village and you want to connect, and there's a different contractor that you would like to use, you can use that contractor as long as the county says it's okay. I know there was a resident over on Shankin that used somebody else a couple of years ago because they had a prior experience with C&E on a different property and they didn't think that went very well, and they wanted to use somebody different. They found someone who was on the county list, they used that contractor. When the Glengarry Inn connected last year, they found someone else other than C&E to do the installation for them because in their case, it was less expensive for them to use the other contractor. So you have the option. But again, the bottom line is the county has to give it the green light before you can have somebody else come and do the install.
Just to piggyback on that a little bit, we've had a number of other people ask about that. And when the contractor that they want to use finds out the cost that C&E has bid for it, they typically will tell the homeowner, let C&E do it because we can't touch it for that price. Now, remember, C&E has gone through the public bidding process through Commerce Township, and the village then piggybacks on to the public bidding that Commerce does. That's why C&E is so prevalent here in the village, Commerce Township, and quite frankly, White Lake.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to put that out there because there's been some questions that have come up as to who people can use to install, and it may influence their decision as to whether or not to go ahead and make the connection to SADA 2. So,
right.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So we don't have any public hearings.
Correct.
We still have the new business. The Water Management Board recommendations. Shows for at least not more than 2,500 fish stocking.
Make a motion that we approve the $2,500 for fish stocking as presented by the Water Board.
Second.
Motion to approve 2,500 for fish stocking by Mr. Duff.
I do have a question. What species of fish?
So, under the DNR's recommendation, we're doing walleye this year.
Oh, okay.
And then they still have us to eliminate the manfish concern. It's on an every other year basis until we get the predator fish larger. So we're
Are
doing
these
walleye.
fingerlings or are these full adolescent?
No, they're small little
Okay.
ones too.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Jeremini,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Kuznicki.
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Claiborne.
Yes.
Last time we had checked with our supplier, they didn't have the walleye in yet, but we'll follow up again. But ideally, we'd like to get the fish back in the water by the end of the month. So,
Brings us to 12B, Ventura Drive parking striping. I believe at the end of the last meeting, we voted to postpone the striping, I believe, previously, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Council, I had placed this on the agenda primarily as a placeholder. Councilperson Kuznicki had asked Mr. Daly specifically what it is that he wanted to see done out there. Mr. Daly had indicated that he would provide some information as to what he wanted to have done. That's why I left this on as a placeholder on new business. I learned on Friday, after the council packets had already been prepared and posted and distributed, that in fact Mr. Daly had reached out to council, I believe it was Wednesday night, with information. So I wasn't aware of that, so it wasn't in the packet. That's why there was no backup in your council packets. I did print out a copy of Mr. Daly's email for all of you at the table here tonight. But again, there was nothing that was posted publicly regarding what he has asked that the village do in that location. Just explanation or background as to how that showed up on the agenda and where we're at right now tonight. So.
I just want to start by saying, I saw the email, I read the email, and I think it was in this email or in another email that I thought Mr. Daly said he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. So I had been out of town over the weekend, and Aaron and I were with Leah all day yesterday, so I wanted to get over to Ventura and look at his proposal. So I had called up Dave and asked if I could go out and look at it, maybe with either you or him, because I didn't understand his drawing, quite honestly. So I'm not prepared to look at this or give recommendations to this, because I didn't think he was going to be here tonight, so I apologize.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we table this until further date so that people can figure out what the actual proposal is, if there's some confusion.
No, looks fine. Duff, the table,
Second.
second by Jeremini. Any discussion with that?
Anybody have any other questions that they want to ask?
I'm with you on that. I didn't, getting the same email, Pam, I had held off on, because of busy weekend, getting out there, and I did want to look at it in person and kind of get a better understanding.
Yeah, I agree. It's a wise choice, prudent to look at it and understand it fully before any decisions are made with it, so don't disagree with that. So, set a roll call for that.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. Duff?
Yes.
Woznicki?
Yes.
Okay. Just table for, offer future. Looking at it. We're going to see the Metro Act permit applications.
Council, we have two applications for Metro Act permits. The first is from Easy Fiber Texas LLC. The second is from Metro FiberNet LLC. These are both fairly straightforward. It's a standard application that's promulgated by the state of Michigan to try to simplify the Metro Act permit process. Both of the applications have been reviewed by the village attorney, and at this point, we're recommending that the village approve both applications. First, as far as the Easy Fiber Texas application is concerned, Jonathan Carroll, who's the Director of Government Affairs, is here from Easy Fiber if the village has any questions about what their proposal is or what they're planning to do here in the village.
Yeah, I guess, what are they planning to do? That's a great way to start.
Yeah, so, by the way, this is my colleague Jerome, you're coming in also.
Yeah, Jerome Decor, I'm with Easy Fiber, I'm out of Houston. I represent the Network Expansion Department, so we're always looking for opportunities to get into underserved cities. And the plan with this area, Wolverine Lake Village, is we're looking at the bigger thing of Commerce Township, West Bloomfield, everything like down to Novi, going out further west. But the plan here is to basically bring fiber to the home to all the residents. And then as we pass residents, wherever it meets business needs, we'll have fiber in those areas as well. So that's kind of it basically.
Is there a cost?
To the village? No.
Now we build all that on our own dime.
Or the residents?
So actually, we get an annual payment of Metro Act fees from the state, based upon, I believe, is it the linear footage? Yeah. So, this is actually, it's not a lot of money.
No.
It is a moneymaker.
I'll make a motion that we approve the memorandum as presented.
Second.
All right, the motion by Duff, second by Brian. Any discussion?
And so this will just give the residents another choice for fiber. So right now, the only fiber you can get is AT&T, right?
I think actually.
Do you have any fiber?
1, 2, 3.
AT&T,
also.
I have AT&T fiber.
Which one?
No, not everybody has AT&T.
Yeah. But
Oh, it's not
I
near
think
the
1,
village.
2, 3, or has it,
Yeah.
and then I think there's another one.
They try to say it's a gig. Let me know if you guys want to get it, I'll tell you what it really is.
It's funny.
Motion to approve Easy Fiber as presented in a second. Any other discussion? We'll take a roll call, please.
Jeremini?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. Kiznicki?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Metro Fiber Net. We need another motion for that one.
Yeah, different motion, different application, but again, the
Make a
analysis is the same.
I'll make a motion that we accept Metro FiberNet memorandum as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's have another roll call. Record.
Nutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. Kiznicki?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
All right. Case D, discussion regarding Dunleavy Community Garden.
Council, at our last meeting, the council had some discussion about the possibility of relocating the community garden project from over off of Dunreath, the old Centerwood property, over to a location near the Veterans Memorial, in terms of providing better access, better visibility, and potentially at some point in the road, if there's actually an irrigation system that's installed over there, then it could be used for the community garden as well. You'll recall that Carmine Marshall, who is here with us tonight, adjusting his sash, is an Eagle Scout, and this is a project that he has proposed and it obtained council approval on before at the Dunreath location. I reached out to him, and I'm not going to speak for him, but explained to him what it is that council had discussed and asked him what his thoughts were on potentially moving the garden from Dunreath, Centerwood, over to the area of the Veterans Memorial, and I believe he supports that. So, but I'll let Carmen speak for himself. So. Carmen, one of the things we had talked about is, I asked you if this would make a lot more work for you in terms of the Eagle Scout approval project. Did you have a chance to look into that?
I don't have to change anything with that. I think it would make it easier in the long run with actually building and working on it.
And just for the benefit of council, the last time we talked, as I understand, you were still trying to find, there was one company in particular you were hoping that was going to be donating the lumber for the project. Is that kind of still where you're at? You're working with them?
Yeah.
Any response from them on timeframe with it?
No, we're working on that there.
Okay.
They haven't been very,
Very responsive?
Yeah, responsive.
Are you hoping to get it built in the spring at this point, or?
I think, yeah, that's what we're aiming for.
Okay.
This April, I think.
Okay.
Next April, yeah.
Okay.
So if that's the case, then I guess that would give us that amount of time to decide where it is that we actually think the garden should be located in Clara Miller, if it's not going to be over on the Centerwood
Yeah, that'd be
property.
smart.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, great. Cool. All right, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's the set public hearings. Fiscal year 2026 CDBG funding.
Council, the first public hearing that I would like to ask you to set is our annual public hearing on the use of the village's community development block grant funding for project year 2026 next year. There have been some changes in the program. I've attended a series of meetings at the county about the changes in the program, but I can go more into detail at those when we actually have the public hearing and when we actually have a recommendation as to how the funds are going to be spent. I think the recommendation is basically going to be to continue to spend those funds as we have in the last few years. That's worked well for the village, even though there are some changes at the county level. A lot of those don't actually affect us. But again, the first step in the process, we need to have the public hearing, and I would ask council to set that for our next meeting on Wednesday, November 12th.
Motion to set the CBG funding for 2026, and the next regular meeting, which would be November 12th.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Parks and Rec Master Plan update.
Council, as I believe you are all aware, the village's current Parks and Recreation Master Plan expires as of the end of this year. If we have any intention of applying for any kind of grant funding through the state, either the trust fund grant that we used previously for Clara Miller or any of the other grant programs, we have to have an updated Parks and Recreation Master Plan on file with the state by February 1st of next year. We retained the assistance of Chris Nordstrom and Carlisle Wertman to help us with the master plan. There was I guess you could almost call it a subcommittee of the Parks and Recreation Board that Commissioner Germini was on. I also participated. The draft of the plan has been completed. I sent it to all of you last week. We'll be posting that on the village website for anyone out in the public to see. We'll also have a copy here at the Village Hall if someone would rather come in and actually take a look at it. But again, as part of the process, we need to hold a public hearing on the proposed master plan. Assuming the notice got posted in the paper and we were assured by the Oakland Press that the required notice was going to be in the paper on Sunday, assuming it was, then we can go ahead and hold the public hearing on Wednesday, November 12th. So that's when I would ask council to set the public hearing.
I'd like to make a motion that we hold the public hearing for Parks and Rec Master Plan update on November 12th, 2025.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Here's two minutes, plan discussion next meeting. Request from Chief Sovic.
Well, this is one of the items that was discussed and approved during the budget workshop. Went out for 3 quotes for purchase the new rifles and shotguns and accessories. We have an excellent working relationship with Keesler Police Supply out of Indiana. We recently purchased our on-duty weapons, and we've been purchasing ammo from them for years. They're the lowest bid. They're great to work with. We have a great working relationship with them. So I just asked that you guys will approve these, the purchase of new rifles and shotguns from Keesler.
I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal as presented, not to exceed $11,500 to purchase new rifles and shotgun.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by O'Brien, for the purchase of new rifles and shotguns not to exceed 11.5. All right, any discussion?
I just have a question. Do those stay in the vehicles that we have, or are they dedicated to specific officers?
They're in each vehicle is one rifle and one shotgun and accessories, so they stay in there. Unless we're maintaining them, we have to take them to a dealership or wherever. We take all the equipment out, put them in a storage locker, but they're always in the vehicles.
Thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
Newman?
Yes.
Laybourne? Yes. Kuznicki?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes. Brings us to G, 2025-2026 winter maintenance agreement for Road Commission of Oakland County.
Council, this is the standard agreement. The Road Commission has asked for the village's assistance in winter maintenance on portions of Ladd and McCoy in exchange for the payment of $5,734.08.
Motion to approve the memorandum as presented, not to exceed $5,734.08.
Sorry.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Any discussion?
Oh.
Yeah, actually, if we wanted, if they want to exceed
definitely- Yeah, that's okay.
573408, that's fine.
Sorry.
That's what they've indicated they're going to pay us.
Pay us,
So,
yeah, sorry.
So let's see. So roll call.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Knut?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes.
H.
Council, this is a recommendation from the negotiating committee to extend my contract for a period of 1 more year through the end of December of 2026. I think the memo is self-explanatory. If you have any questions, I would refer you to the 3 members of that committee. It's President McNutt, President Pro Tem Duff, and Councilmember O'Brien.
Make a motion that we accept the memorandum as presented.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman to accept as presented. Any discussion?
Beyond the annual increase in salary, were there any other changes to the contract?
No.
We tried for more than 1 year, but he was tough on us. Any other discussion? That's a roll call.
Jeremini?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes.
And I, item I, Administrator Gilman requests council move to closed session immediately after agenda item 19 to consider the purchase of real estate pursuant to MCL 15.268(1)D.
Just a reminder, we do need a 2/3 roll call vote for this closed session as well.
Motion to go into closed session after item 19.
Second.
A motion by second by Newman to go to closed session. Any discussion? Roll call.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. Duff?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Okay, closed session afterward.
Thank you.
J, set topics for October 22 work session.
Motion to forego.
Good motion for go by Duff,
Second.
second by O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Pending business, the Kenny Lake Pump House, water quality.
No additional information at this time, Council.
It's at 14, second call to public, approximately 9 p.m. This opportunity for our citizens to address the council regarding village business. I'd like to just kind of remind everybody that there's a 5-minute understandable time limit, so we have a motion to open.
Motion to open.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll open the second call.
Good evening. I'm George Weber, 877 Laguna Drive. First, I do appreciate what the council does. We keep Wolverine like a great place to live. Second, just to reiterate some of what Larry Gray was talking about, I think the feedback was great, and the township will come back with looking at, we had a little sidebar after that on what we might be able to do in terms of a plan coming down South Commerce Road from Glengarry to see if there's a way to connect and improve the pathways along there. Third item, just as I saw it was on the agenda, just so you know, the township's contract with C&E is up for bid prior to the end of this year. So we've had a great relationship with C&E on grinder pumps, but it is going out for bid. So more to come, and we'll keep Dave in the loop on how that goes, and Mike as well. My primary purpose here is to...
George, can you interrupt real quick? Can you pull the podium back a little bit? It's in the microphone. There you go. Thanks.
My primary purpose is to make a recommendation regarding the ordinance on high-speed traffic on the lake after 7:30. And I'll preface it by saying I don't want to open a Pandora's box with Eagle on what changes might need to be made to the ordinance. My recommendation is to look at the language as it relates. I'm not against surf boats. Yes, I'd prefer that they would be closer to the 200 feet from shore. But at some point in time, somebody's going to push the envelope, either in the mornings or after 7:30, and they're going to be out and they're going to be surfing or they're going to be wakeboarding and never get on plane. And in theory, they're not doing anything wrong because they're living within the language of the ordinance. They're not adhering to the spirit of the ordinance, which really is not creating a disturbance for people along the lake shore, or if they want to have dinner down by the water, etc. It's to have a calm period of time, whether you're cruising or you're pontooning. But I think it's prudent to get ahead of the curve on this, because again, somebody, whether it's next year or it's 5 years from now, somebody's going to push the envelope, and they're going to start doing it after 7:30 and still be in compliance with the letter of the ordinance, but not the spirit of the ordinance. So I think by getting ahead of it, changing the language to something that is rational, where you're not having skiing, you're not having wakeboarding, you're not having surfing after that 7:30 period. Thank you.
Dave Labor, 2335 Shaken. I need a couple explanations. I got this note from the chief. It says, after careful consideration, I've concluded that matters you continue to raise, whether it's related to the lake, dock, marina, or other waterways, do not fall under the jurisdiction of the police department. These are civil matters, not criminal in nature. Therefore, are not appropriate for the law enforcement involved. So my question to you folks is that an accurate statement?
I don't personally have the...
I'm sorry?
I
You gotta
personally
speak up,
don't have
because
the-
you guys gotta get
I
the mics
personally don't
working
have
around
the-
here,
Okay.
okay? Is this an accurate statement?
Can I speak?
Is that an accurate statement?
Can I speak?
Pardon me?
Can I speak? I was trying to speak to you and you interrupted me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. I personally don't have the information of the question you're asking.
Good.
Okay? I don't. So in regards to whether it's a legal or civil matter, that's not my area of expertise.
I gave it to you last time. But these are critical.
Right, this is just what you read.
That's right. So I'd like to know if that's an accurate statement that we're going to follow in this village, the police department.
Well, Mr. Leyburn, if it's a question of whether or not that's what the chief has concluded, I think that is what the chief has concluded, yes.
So that's the new procedure.
That is what the chief has concluded.
That's fine. The citizens have to know that. Okay, the next one. I also have spoken to Mr. You and members of
Mr.
council.
Leyburn, if you can grab the microphone so everybody can hear, that'd be great. Thank you.
That members of council about your interpretation of the riparian rights. As a result, this will be a police department approach. So in other words, he's saying the same thing, that the police department is not going to be involved with riparian rights. Is that correct?
Did I have conversation with the chief about that? Yes, I did.
Okay. We have the new procedure as far as this is the way we cover the lake now. Instead of the boat, we have the police sitting in the car to watch what's going on in the lake. They might run once or twice a day, but that's it. Is that the new procedure now?
Well, we have one of our Marine officers here, and I think he would disagree with you on that one.
I'm sorry?
So we have one of our Marine officers here that I think would disagree with you on that one. And this picture, is my understanding that this was a passenger on your...
Pardon me?
My understanding that this was a passenger on your personal watercraft?
No, that's the police chief.
Yeah,
Police,
but the person talking to the...
no, that's Joanne.
Okay, so it's a person that was on your personal watercraft, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and they weren't wearing a life jacket, is that correct?
What'd you say?
I said they were not wearing a life jacket at that time, correct?
That's correct.
While they were on the,
That's correct.
okay,
Okay,
yep.
you got the ticket.
I'm just,
Okay. Here's the harvester. They've been to this house 9 times, which is the cove next to us. On our cove, they've only been there twice. I don't know if you've been on Shankin, but look how Shankin is deteriorating. Look at the hole there. We used to have 15 feet there so we could dump these weeds from Petty Lake. Now they go all the way around the lake in order to dump the seaweed. I would say now,
They were
3 or
just
4
dumping
years, you're not gonna have a
here
Shankin there.
today. I saw them dump them.
Here's another case. Shankin was always striped. All of a sudden, we decided not to. These are all the things when we did the sonar, people signed up to get things changed. And we need to do that too, because we're making a lot of decisions. That's not what we should be doing on this lake.
anybody else for a second call?
Motion to close.
We have a motion to close by Newman,
Second.
second by Duff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so, council liaison reports, Parks and Rec.
Let's see, which part of that? Okay. We went through our, the park signs that we approved at this last council meeting. We had a thorough discussion of making sure we got the directional signs pointing in the right way, color assignments for the various things, for each of the types of things and all of that, so that they'll be optimal and give people the proper right of way on everything. Continue to discuss the farmer's market. We decided to extend it for a couple weeks because produce vendors still had produce. So we technically had the farmer's market yesterday. I use that term loosely. It was not a great one. So our last one will be this coming Tuesday, the, whatever that is, in October. The 14th, I believe it is. And then we have the blood drive coming up on the 13th of this Monday from 2 to 6 p.m. We went over the corn roast and discussed the results from that and everything that how we felt it went. Most of the members of the board were pretty pleased, but of course, there's always little things that we want to work on to improve that. We reselected the themes for the holiday decorating contest for Halloween. Apparently mine weren't up to snuff, so, but that is out, and the deadline for that is October 23rd, 4 p.m. for anybody that's interested in entering. There are flyers out everywhere and posted, and have been posted multiple times on Facebook, so making sure people are aware. As part of the Veterans Memorial Subcommittee, within that, going to be meeting on Tuesday to discuss a few things, have a fall cleanup set up, and then also decorating schedule set up, and we will be doing one more order of bricks before, and get them in the ground before the winter hits. So, yeah, that's about it.
Zoning board.
So I misspoke last month. We did not have a meeting last month. However, we have 3 cases this month. So, okay.
Water management board.
As I covered earlier, we discussed about fish stocking, finalized what we were going to order for it as we presented tonight in the council meeting. The last day that's scheduled the harvester to run is scheduled for October 12th. And then just a heads up, the lake drawdown is to schedule to begin on October 31st. So, you gotta get your boats out, get your boats out.
Right, planning.
No meeting.
No meeting. Chief?
Well, you guys have been provided a, just like a brief summary from the Marine Patrol statistical breakdown for 2025. I do have Officer Steve Grenwald here, who does a fantastic job out on the water for us. Take a look at those statistics, and if you guys have any questions for he and I, we'll be more than happy to clarify some things or just answer any questions you may have regarding the Marine Patrol this year. We will be taking the boat out of the water this week and getting it prepped for the winter. Just an FYI.
Chief, would I be able to address to the council Mr. Laybourne's comments
Please.
in regard
Please.
to us patrolling? So if we get a call for service, or if we write a ticket, we have to do that in the patrol vehicle. So a lot of the times that we'll have whoever we write a ticket to come back to the dock, we have to run their driver's license. And there's other things to do for a call for service on the computer, which we do not have on the police boat. So some of the times, yes, we do have to sit in the police car. Some of the times, yes, we do get hot with all of our gear, 30 pounds of gear on, and we do take a break in the air conditioning. And a lot of times, especially this summer, there wasn't an attendant at the lake lot for the launch. So we also watch the parking lot to make sure they're not parking on the grass and parking more than, 15 cars in the spots, and making sure they park, correct, so we can get those 15 in there. So there are a lot of other things that we do besides going around the lake that involve having to be in the patrol vehicle. That's why we park that patrol vehicle by the boat, but we're obviously making, many more laps than once or twice in a 12-hour shift. And I know I see a lot of the council members out on the water, and you would know that as well. So I just don't agree with that statement that the Marine Patrol officers, myself and Officer Juzik, are just sitting in the car a lot of the time.
Agreed. I know we've had it change a little bit at the patrol time.
Hours.
Hours, yeah.
Yeah, one of the biggest complaints was, well, the issues, there was the high-speed boating, certain hours. So we changed the hours, so they were 12-hour shifts. They would get out there earlier and still enforce some of these things before they were allowed to go faster or on plane before 11 o'clock. And so a lot of our citations were written during those hours before that 11 and after, so.
Yeah.
And I think the majority, Chief, and I'd like to thank the council, first of all, for allowing us to start earlier. I think that has been a very big help with, a lot of the problems in the morning, before 11 o'clock. I would guess 70-75% of the tickets that we wrote were before 11 a.m. So it is those high speeders in the morning. And honestly, most of the tickets that we wrote were not lake residents. They're residents that are coming to the launch that are not reading the sign or paying attention. And, they're going out and high-speed boating before hours.
But how did they take that when they were informed?
Well, there is a 5-foot sign there at the launch with all of the lake rules. But, that's on them launching the boat right there, that it clearly states. And we do warn people a lot when they're, putting in, and sometimes if we talk to them, hey, just a reminder, high-speed boating, your boat cannot be on plane before 11 a.m.
Okay.
But I think this summer, was a real good summer. I know just a little bit ago, someone had brought up the Wake boats, another question that I got a lot that maybe council can talk about in the future were these wake boards, the
E-foils?
the hydrofoil. Because technically, those are on plane. And we haven't addressed that, but when they're on plane, they're not making a wake, but, they are considered a watercraft. And I know a lot of the residents do not have the MC stickers on there, which, legally, it kind of falls, the DNR really aren't enforcing it because there's not a lot right now. So we really haven't enforced that. We might see, one a weekend out there before 11 o'clock. It's not been a problem, but I just, I've had other people come to me and ask me about it. So I'm just, obviously passing it along to you.
What's your biggest, concern patrolling the lake, what you see?
We did have a couple of people this summer that were pulling a tuber or skier without a spotter. That's very dangerous. And the other big concern, safety concern, is people sitting on the front of a pontoon. It's called improper riding or standing, dangling their feet in the water when the boat's going, even though it's going slow. If somebody were to fall off the front or catch the wake or wave and pull them in, there's no way that pontoon wouldn't run them over with the propeller still spinning. So those are the ones that really scare me the most. We did have a lot of complaints this summer about the harvester, and I spoke with Dave Gillum about that the other day, with a lot of the weeds and so forth, that, people will come to the officers and complain about that, and I would advise them to contact the village office in regard to that. But I think, it was a great summer. No one was hurt. We had no accidents. Everything and everybody was safe. And again, it's not so much the residents of Wolverine Lake, it's more so the guests who are coming in to launch on the lake that aren't really aware of the rules, or they don't really care about the rules. So, and a lot of the times if they get written a citation, a lot of them do not want to come back. So.
How can residents report concerns that they see on the lake?
So that's a great question, and I tell people a lot of people don't want to, call us or call the sheriff's office to give us a call, but the best way that I feel a resident can help the community out is if there's a problem boat, let us know. We can go and address that with them and talk to them about it. Unless we witness it, we can't write and issue a ticket for it, but at least then we know that this boat, somebody called in, or a lot of times we get multiple calls on one boat, and then we know the problem boat, and then if it's an issue and an ongoing problem, then we can address it again. So I think a lot of people don't want to call on their neighbor, but if they call and there is a problem, then we know, and we're out there every weekend and we can address it and make sure it's not continually happening.
Who did they call?
They can call the sheriff's office, which will call us, or they can call
the dispatch center and report it, because every time someone calls the dispatch center, we get called on a call for service, and so even if we're not able to go out there and investigate it right away, at least we have the information. You can remain anonymous. Hey, we got this boat, here's the MC number, got some issues, just want to let you guys be aware of it, and so we can write up a brief report. Okay, this person reported this so-and-so, so at least it's documented, and so if it happens again 2 or 3 times, then obviously there's something, we can have some more teeth to it, but call the dispatch number, the 624-1335, report it. They will get a hold of us, and we can at least write a call for service that someone called and complained about.
Or if they can't get the MC numbers, just the color of the boat in the general vicinity, and normally we can obviously find it on the lake. But I really think the best thing about this past summer was us starting earlier, and that really seemed to help a lot of the fishermen. And the other thing that we did this year that we haven't done in the past is we were coming in very early. I think Officer Juzik came in at 6 a.m. the last time when there's fishing tournaments on the lake, because that's usually a big problem as well. Everybody's racing out to get to their spot. So if the fishing tournament's going to start at 6 a.m., this summer we were trying to come in at 6 a.m. to make sure there was a presence there, because there is a lot of traffic on the lake as well.
Just one more question. I think you mentioned that there's the heat factor, right? You have all your gear on, it's the middle of summer. Was there ever a thought when we purchased the boat to have a canopy installed? Would that be an option?
We do have a canopy.
Oh, okay,
So
so it's just not up.
The problem is putting it up and getting it up, and then if you come in, or if I have to come in and write a ticket, it cannot go into the boat lift, so then we have to take everything down. So when you're coming in and out, it's more of a problem to put it up and down than it is to, and I guess I'd rather sweat a little than put it up and down when I'm running back and forth.
Plus, when it's up, it won't go underneath the bridge over there, so we got to take that down. We don't want any issues or repairs. We don't want to damage anything, so.
And I will say on the last boat,
Just once.
the last boat, there was a couple of officers who were no longer here that did leave it up and ran it under the bridge, and it was a mess.
Happens a lot.
It does not fit.
Just a general comment, the conversations I've had with Officer Grunwald and Officer Juzik too, for that matter, I mean, I think those of us here in the village are fortunate, because as I understand, a lot of the lakes in this area do not have any police patrols, particularly public lakes. If either the residents or the community doesn't want to pay for sheriff's department to patrol, there is no patrol. And so it's safe to say in some of the lakes, again, from what I've heard, it can be kind of like the Wild Wild West.
It is.
We definitely do not have that.
No, and again, I think it goes back to safety. You know, we've not had any accidents, we've not had any injuries, and I really think that speaks for the police department and Chief Sovic. And, you know, we address a lot of things, and we come to you, Dave, with a lot of things or issues that are going on, and I feel really good about it. I love being here in this community. I'm not here because of the money. I really love the people, and I think some of you that I know personally know that. I really enjoy being here, and you know, I hope I can be here for years to come, and I appreciate, you know, your support, and I appreciate the, you know, the added support for extended hours this year, because I really truly feel that was the biggest factor in having a successful summer, was just getting out there earlier and addressing a lot of the problems.
You know, one good thing too is we have the body cams out there on these guys, and so, well, you know, so the body cam is on, so it's looking straight. So the body cam is not always going to catch the infraction, but you know, because you're turning right and you're looking, you got your head on a swivel, looking for things. But the body cam has kind of really saved, like, well, you know, this guy was rude to me, this guy was so and so. I mean, it really kind of protects our officers from, oh well, hey, well, let's take a look at the video together, and we'll address it. But the abuse that this guy takes is amazing. You'd be surprised and disappointed at people about how they treat him, whether they're going to get a citation or not. And so he does a really good job of maintaining his professionalism and composure, and sometimes he issues the citation, sometimes he doesn't. But having the body cams on there really kind of protects us, and also on the flip side, it also, you know, helps with transparency and just to kind of keep these guys in check. Not that they need it, but I think it's a really good tool that we have, that body cam, even on the water. So it's been great for both, for everybody. And so,
and honestly, Chief, I don't think I would do it without the body cam now, just because, you know, it is a very difficult job, and maybe I'm biased, but I feel can be one of the most difficult jobs at the police department. You're dealing with people where alcohol is involved a lot. You know, we're not looking to be the fun police, but we're just trying to keep everyone safe. And, you know, sometimes, you know, they will get the option, if they take their boater safety, I will dismiss the ticket. So I have court tomorrow with a few cases, and some of those people tomorrow had the option that if they take the boater safety, even though legally a lot of them are over the age that they don't need to, that I will dismiss the ticket because we're looking, obviously, to educate them and better themselves for their families and the community and everybody around them. So, I'm thankful that the court allows that and is not just looking for the fines, and they allow us to dismiss the ticket. So I think it's, if somebody gets a ticket, obviously, in my opinion, they probably deserved it, but they also might get that option, most likely, that if they take the boater safety, and they can do it online, that the ticket will be dismissed.
It's not a bad deal.
No, not a bad deal at all. In order to drive a car, you have to have a driver's license. But unfortunately, if you're over a certain age, you don't have to have a license.
No, and a lot of people, there was a person that I have court with tomorrow, and I won't go into but the person got a ticket. I said, "You look familiar," and the person said, "You wrote me a ticket," and I said, "When?" And they said, "A few weeks ago," and I said, "For what?" And they said, "The same thing you're going to write me a ticket for now." So, sometimes there are repeat people, and we usually get to know some of those people. So, it's being addressed.
Well, we appreciate you being out there the hours that you
Yeah.
are. And it's a long day out there.
It is a long day and in the sun, so, sometimes we do have to take that break in the car, and we'll come in and get something cold in the car to drink and just take a break, so, the heat stroke or whatever doesn't come into play. But it is, sometimes in the summer, I love my job, but it can be very difficult sometimes. And I think,
Very hot summer, too.
I think Chief Sovic and Dave Gillum are aware of that. Sometimes I feel like half the lake hates me and half the lake loves me, so, but, I'm always doing my best, and I'm always trying to, represent the police department in the village of Wolverine Lake in the highest manner I can.
I think that Marine Patrol does a great job out there, keeping everything orderly. Been on a lot of lakes in the area that don't have that, and you look at our lake on a busy hot Saturday afternoon, and it seems like chaos. But for the lakes that don't have the patrol, it's even more so.
And I know there were some residents that had some issues with people coming too close to docks and different issues of that, and we did try, obviously, we can't just sit in one spot, but we did really address those and those concerns, and we did write some tickets at some different places. I know Penny Lake, going into the entrance of Penny Lake where there's no wake, there was a lot of complaints about that this summer. And then, obviously, some of the narrow parts of the lake, that, we do the best, that we can there, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I've got.
That's all you got?
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Treasurer Hanson.
This month, I took some training, a 3-day training with the Michigan Municipal Treasurers Association, and I was able to come back with a lot of new changes that are happening across the state, and so we will be ready to implement some of those things, banking changes and regulations and that sort of thing. There's, I think, 220 attendees there, and so it's always just a really great time to talk with other treasurers and find out what other villages are doing and all that. So it was a great training. We've just completed our first quarter on the new budget, and everything's going pretty good there. And I'm gearing up for RANA coming soon to start the audit process. So that's about it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Bill? Mr. President, Council, just a couple of quick points. Remember that earlier this year, late last year, Council had appropriated funds to update the village website. We are scheduled to go live tomorrow morning. Revised has been walking us through the process. They've indicated to me that there may be some old data from the old website that's still out in some of the servers. So for temporarily, you may still be seeing some old information or getting glimpses of the old website. But, again, knock on wood, hopefully the new and improved will be up tomorrow morning, and it would acknowledge all the work that Tabitha and Paige up in the office upstairs did in going through and trying to make sure that we caught any wrinkles or there weren't any bad links that we were missing or anything like that. We spent a lot of time on it, and hopefully you'll be pleased with the result. So tomorrow is also scheduled to be the last day that the weed harvester will be out on the lake. We'll be pulling out just as the police department's going to be pulling out the police boat. Probably early next week, the harvester will come out, but tomorrow will be the last day that we'll actually do any harvesting. I've also gotten notification from the Detroit Institute of Arts. We participated in the Inside Out program. We had the 8 replicas or reproductions of various artworks throughout the village. They're actually going to be coming out and pulling those out on Thursday, November 6th. So, Chief, if we get any calls about somebody stealing any artwork, it's probably the DIA. So, and I think everybody in council is aware, but I'll make everybody at home and in YouTube land aware too that we will have a representative from Priority Waste at our next meeting on November 12th to get the update on the new customer service portal that they're putting into place. And they have gone live now. I think I had mentioned previously that we had conflicting information, but one piece of information that I had was that Priority was going to set up a link so customers could go in directly and make a complaint. They have done that. So it is possible now for customers to, one of our residents to go ahead and click on a link and then get into Priority Waste's customer service portal and report an issue directly themselves. Of course, they can still, if they prefer, they can contact the village hall and we'll go ahead and we'll make the entry, make the report into the portal. But if the resident would prefer to do that themselves directly, they will have the ability to do that. So, finally, just a little bit of a comment, maybe a little bit of explanation. I think it was a couple weeks ago, Commerce Township had their annual Household Hazardous Waste Day, and I got a couple of emails and a couple of calls. Village residents are specifically not allowed to participate in that because the household hazardous waste is done with refuse fees. And because Commerce has its own contract as opposed to the village's contract, theirs provides for the household hazardous waste day, ours does not. And I've gotten some calls and emails from people who are wondering why that is. My understanding is that before I was here, back when Mike Kondak was the treasurer, there was discussion with our then waste hauler, First Republic, and then GFL after that, about possibly doing a household hazardous waste day for the village. But the cost was going to be astronomical because there are certain basic fixed expenses anytime you have that kind of event. And because we're small, because there would be a limited number of participants, the cost was going to be very, very significant. So the village never really looked into it any further. Then after I came to work here, during one of the contract sessions that we had with GFL, I mentioned it to our GFL rep and he kind of rolled his eyes. He says, Dave, I can get you the numbers, but you're not going to like them. And the discussion never really went any further. Now we've got Priority Waste now. I haven't had the discussion with Priority Waste. I can, but again, my understanding historically is that for the village to have its own event, that it would be very, very expensive for the village, given the amount of participation and the amount of materials that would be collected at any single event. Now, there is another option to potentially go through Oakland County. The county does have a hazardous waste program. I talk to the people at the county every year about their program. I talked to them again within the last couple weeks. Again, they say the village is more than happy to join, but just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, if we participated in the county program, number one, there would be a cost of $112.25 per vehicle for everyone that went to the county event. Above and beyond that, the village would also be responsible for an administrative fee to cover the cost of publicity, advertising, some other overhead. The exact dollar amount would depend upon the number of communities that were participating, but on top of $112 and some cents per vehicle, that would be an awful lot of money. Above and beyond that, too, the county next year is planning to hold 4 of its events. They're anticipating having one in Independence Township, so basically up in Clarkston. They're anticipating having another one up in Oxford Township. They expect to have another one in Orion Township. And then the closest one that they would have to us would be in the city of Pontiac. So if we went with the county program, it would be expensive, and it would be in no way convenient for our residents at all. So that's why we refer people to a private company down in Livonia. It's the company actually that Priority Waste in the township used when they had their event. But there is a per pound fee that they charge if you take something down to them. They're over off of, if it's Farmington and 96, somewhere down right off of I-96 in Livonia. So, and I remember I took something down there once too. And it's kind of tucked back in an industrial village. But a per pound fee with, I think it's a minimum of $20 or $25 to dispose of any items or items. That still, I think, is the best bang for the buck for our residents.
Is there a list of items
If you go,
that they consider hazardous?
if you go to, and we have the information, the name of the company upstairs, if anybody wants to call the village website, or if we don't have it, call the village office. If we don't have it on the new website, we can put it on the new website. I believe it was on the old, but there's a link to the company, and they do have, on their homepage, they have a list of what they'll accept and what they will not accept, yes. So, just a little bit of explanation, again, because we had gotten some calls and some emails, in large part prompted because people saw that Commerce was having their household hazardous waste day. Why doesn't the village have one too? That's why. Other than that, I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Halloween. We'll see everybody in November. Thank you.
Thank you. Council comments? Yeah. Sir?
Yeah, thank you. I just, I have just one basic comment. Yesterday, Aaron and I spent most of the day over at Country Club Commerce, no, it's Edgewood, on Commerce Road, for the Leah Taste of Lakes. And I wanted to thank personally all those who donated items, for the silent auction. So thank you for that. And I want to thank everybody that attended. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. There was a lot of prizes. There was a lot of food. And our administrator walked off being a great big winner of the evening. He had four items, I think you won, 4 different times.
Oh, my wife, actually 5 altogether.
5? Yeah. So, anyway, congratulations. And it was a lot of fun. So, thank you.
5 things you'll pay for.
Happy Halloween.
Piggybacking on that, last night's Taste of the Lakes was a wonderful success. While we won't have the final fundraising total for a couple of weeks, we're incredibly grateful for the generosity of our sponsors and attendees. Your support means so much to our community. A special thank you to DPW leader Andy Stone for preparing a monthly report to accompany the other departmental updates in our council packets. This edition enhances the information we receive as council members and provides valuable insight to residents as well. I'd also like to extend my appreciation to Chief Silvic for promptly addressing a minor issue at one of our bus stops last week. On behalf of the neighborhood, thank you for prioritizing our children's safety. If any resident has a police-related concern, I encourage you to reach out to Chief Silvic and his team. We're fortunate to have a department that values collaboration and community solutions. With the discussions on Ventura parking, I want to note that I see and hear all the emotions on both sides. I'm reviewing all the documents that have been provided to us, and I know it's a hugely important topic for both parties. I can only speak for myself, but I'm weighing the options presented carefully to make the best decision, not just for the parties, but also for the community as a whole. Finally, happy Halloween to our residents. Please make sure that your children wear reflective clothing or glow sticks to stay safe while collecting their goodies.
In case I don't see you, happy Halloween and thank you, Petra.
Bill?
Oh, yeah, thanks. Everybody, happy Halloween, and I hope you're all blessed until we meet again November 12th.
Happy Halloween. Be safe.
State of the Lakes, or State of Lakes, Taste of the Lakes was great. Thank you, Aaron and Pam, for all the time you guys put on that, and everybody else who's a part of Leah. Hopefully, the numbers will be huge. Again, reminder, the blood drive is coming up on the 13th from 2 to 6. And the farmer's market, big final day, will be on the 14th from 4 to 7 p.m. And happy Halloween.
So they say it's getting darker earlier, so just people are still out, so please slow down in the neighborhoods. And happy Halloween. And with that, we go to closed session.
Closed session, correct.
Closed session.